What's up guys, Track Traders here. Today I would like to talk about AI in finance. It is a topic that's been getting a lot of attention lately, and honestly, it is showing up more areas of the financial world. I've been reading some of the latest academic papers on this and thought I'd share a few insights with you. So, what if I told you that one day your financial advisor won't be a person, but an AI that's faster, smarter, and never sleeps? You can imagine this. You open your investment app and an AI assistant calmly says, "Your portfolio has been optimized based on recent economic shifts, geopolitical risks, and sentiment from 8,000 news articles." Meanwhile, AIs are already clashing on Wall Street. One reacts to central bank press releases before the journalist even finishes reading. Another digests 500 papers of earnings reports and triggers trades before you finish your morning coffee. Sounds scientific? It is not. It's already happening. But here's the real question. In finance, what exactly can AI do right now, and what can't it do yet? A new paper from NeurIPS 2024 called FinBen, a holistic financial benchmark for large language models, breaks this down perfectly. It maps out the 8 core domains where AI is being tested in finance, from information extraction to decision making, and even multilingual analysis. Let's walk through each of these battlegrounds. We'll look at which areas show real breakthroughs, which ones are still mostly hype, and where I believe the future is unfolding. Okay, let's dive into the battleground. First up, information extraction. Think of it as the AI equivalent of a forensic analyst. You feed it thousands of earnings reports, press releases, government filings, and it pulls out names, dates, numbers, executive chains, and even casual relationships like X led to Y. It is like turning a mountain of unstructured noise into a spreadsheet of actionable signals. Well, OpenAI's GPT-4 model does a decent job here, especially on entity recognition and event tagging. But when it runs into messy formatting, embedded tables, or implicit relationships, things get shaky. Still, I see this domain as a fundamental infrastructure, the backbone for any financial database, authoring system, or workflow automation. Once models master this, entire teams of junior analysts could be replaced or empowered with a click. Next is textual analysis. This is where AI plays psychologist. It reads between the lines of earnings calls, fed speeches, analyzed reports, and tries to detect whether the tone is optimistic, cautious, or straight up panicked. For example, is that central bank statement hawkish or dovish? AI tries to decode tones, sentiment, and subtle intent. GPT-4 and Google's Gemini are decent at binary sentiment, like bullish versus bearish, but they still struggled with complex, multi-layered emotions, like when a report says, "We are cautious optimistic, but also warns of ongoing volatilities." I think this area has massive value in market sentiment tracking, risk monitoring, and automated insight extraction. The next frontier will be context-aware, domain-specific models that can even detect sarcasms in analyzed reports. The third domain is question answering. Think of this as turning a language model into Bloomberg terminal you can talk to. You ask, "Was Apple's net income for Q2 2022? Or what are the key takeaways from the latest ECB announcements? And ideally, the model gives you a precise, sourced answer. GPT-4 performs well on simple fact-based queries. But once you need multi-hop reasoning or deal with legal ambiguity, performance drops. Imagine a compliance officer saying, "Under Regulation A, am I allowed to structure this derivative like B?" This is still a challenge. The big opportunity here is in knowledge-intensive Q&A systems for financial services, from internal knowledge bases to client chatbots to legal document assistance. But for that to work, models need updated context, strong grounding, and zero hallucination tolerance. The fourth domain is text generation. This one has the same problem with the Q&A domain. Well, AI writing you daily market wrap or summarizing a 200-page quarterly report sounds amazing? And it can already do that? Kind of. These models tend to sound right but be wrong. They misquote figures, misattribute sources, or generate confident nonsense. Also, Google's Gemini has shown strong performance in summarization tasks, but anything longer or analytical tends to drift from the facts. AI-generated text works well for quick drafts, like internal updates, meeting recaps, or press summaries. But when it comes to formal reports or anything client-facing, you still need human oversight. Accuracy matters way too much in those cases. My advice for this will be treat it like a junior analyst, useful for prep, but always double-check its work. You can use it to polish your idea or your content, but you cannot fully rely on it. The fifth domain is called risk management. Well, this one is tricky. We are talking about fraud detection, credit scoring, and financial stress monitoring. These are high-stakes, low margin of error tasks, and this is where AI hits a wall. Why? Because the data is highly imbalanced. Fraud is rare, and the signal is buried under layers of behavior, time, context, and sometimes deception. Large language models here struggle big time, either overflagging everything as risky or missing true red flags. The future likely lies in hybrid models, combining text, numbers, and time series, with explainability baked in. Huge potential, but much harder to build. If someone builds a model that can truly understand risk in natural language, like this client shows early signs of default, it could revolutionize how banks and insurers operate. Next up, the sixth field, the most tempting but misleading use case, forecasting. This is the dream. Give the AI some data and ask, will the stock go up? But even in FinBen's controlled experiments, most models barely beat random guessing. GPT-4 showed some improvement, but is far from reliable. And here's my personal view. I never understood why people are so obsessed with prediction. Financial markets are low signal, high noise. You might get a short-term call right, but that's often just luck. So my suggestion here is don't use AI to predict the future. Use it to understand the present, the structure, the context, the narratives. That's where its real edge lies. Next one. This is the exciting one. Decision making. In the experiment, GPT-4 used the news articles and financial reports to make simulated buy-sell decisions, and ended up outperforming a simple buy and hold strategy by a big margin. In fact, it achieved an annualized return over 28%, with a Sharpe ratio that significantly beat the baseline. It sounds amazing, right? But remember, it was in simulated, controlled environment, and only large models performed well. Smaller ones totally failed. Well, this is actually the field I am personally working on right now. I am using reinforcement learning algorithms to train AI trading agents, where the output is not just a prediction, but an action sequence, a real decision path. And my goal is to eventually build an AI trader that's not just smart in theory, but actually deployable in real-world markets. Still, the road is long. I believe this is the direction where AI-assisted trading and portfolio construction are heading. The key will be risk control, model explainability, and compliance transparency. The final domain is multilingual capability. FinBen tested models on financial tasks in Spanish, and the results were pretty bad. Misinterpretation, translation loss, and massive drops in accuracy. That might not sound like a big deal, but it is. Because finance is global, and most of the world doesn't use English. From Latin America to Southeast Asia to the Middle East, language models trained only in English simply won't cut it. Therefore, the opportunity here is huge. Building localized multilingual AI systems that understand regulations, market customers, and language nuances in each region. Whoever cracks this could dominate emerging market finance tools. And right now, we are not even close. So, there you have it. 8 domains or battlegrounds where AI is fighting to redefine finance. Some areas, like information extraction and sentiment analysis, are already changing workflows. Others, like decision making and forecasting, are still earlier stage, but full of promise. And one thing for sure, AI won't replace finance professionals overnight, but those who embrace AI might just replace those who don't. If you enjoyed this breakdown, give it a like, drop a comment, and let me know which area of AI in finance are you most excited or worried about. I am curious to hear your thoughts, and thanks for watching. I am Track Trader, and this is where we look at investing and trading through the lens of philosophy. See you in the next one.